Starcraft 2 Heart of the Swarm. Is it worth a buy? Is it worth a buy, guys? Well, let's read the words of the developer. As Queen of Blades, Sarah Kerrigan, you were once the most feared entity in the galaxy. Now you wait in a cell in the depths of a high-security research laboratory. Before the murderous forces of the Terran Dominion close in, you must plot your escape to the dark reaches of space and reclaim your living empire at the heart of the swarm. So what is Heart of the Swarm? Well, it is the second StarCraft 2 game. StarCraft 2 is a real-time strategy game made by Blizzard, the company that's upped themselves so much it's unbelievable. But what they've done with StarCraft 2 is they're releasing 3 variations of the game, one for each race. There's 3 races in StarCraft 2. There's the Terran, which are like human, there's the Zerg, who are like monsters, and there's the Protoss, who are alien. And we've so far had the Terran Wings of Liberty StarCraft 2 game, which had a full campaign for the Terran. This is the Heart of the Swarm, which is a full campaign for the Zerg. And the next one, which comes out in a couple of months' time, is Legacy of the Void, which is a full campaign for the Protoss, who are my favourite race. I think this is a great idea to do it like this, because you get so much in a whole game dedicated to each race, and they are well worth the money because of what you actually get. For example, just in this one alone, the Heart of the Swarm, you get 20 missions in a campaign, which is probably worth about 15 hours play, maybe. Just depends on how fast you go through it. But with every StarCraft 2 game, the campaign is just the teaser, because the real game takes place after the campaign when you get into multiplayer. And multiplayer doesn't just mean facing off against a Korean who will have you beaten in 0.6 seconds. We're talking about full co-op with your friends, full co-op on public servers, loads and loads of maps, loads of game variations. We're talking a massive world of gaming just out. It's probably worth the money just for the multiplayer aspect, but I'll come to that later. Let's concentrate on the campaign. And one thing I want to say, the reason that this game is so much under the radar is because of Blizzard. Blizzard don't use Steam. They don't use the likes of Greenman Gaming or any other gaming online shop. I mean, you can buy it on Amazon, but that's pretty much about it. It's because Blizzard are up themselves. Let's be honest, they are so far fucking up themselves, it's unbelievable. They have sex with themselves. They rub themselves over with baby oil and smother their own games over their body. They just go to bed with their games. They have sex with their games. They get their logo and wrap it around their wangs. So anyway, what is StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm? Well, it's the second one, as I've said, and it revolves around Kerrigan. And who's Kerrigan? Well, I'll give you the lore. I'll give you the. All right, this is the story so far, according to Mac. So you got the Confederates who had a fight with these other people, and these other people kind of, all right, and these other people by Mansk, I can't pronounce his name, but it looks stupid. It's Mansk. He's probably got a very big beard. He had Kerrigan working for him as a hitman, even though she's a girl, so a hit girl. She kind of makes people disappear, you know. And Reyna, who wants to shag Kerrigan, and Kerrigan, who wants to shag Reyna, worked underneath Mansk doing his dirty work kind of thing, and you know, but they didn't actually shag, even though they kind of. So they were sent on lots of different missions doing shit, and Kerrigan led a really big fight against the Zerg, and she kind of won, but then she got cornered in the end and says, "Hey, I'm ready for evac." Sorry, we're not going to pick you up. But I'll die, the Zerg. Die. And Manx kind of left her to die. Reyna was kind of, what the fuck? And the Zerg closed in on her and but they didn't kill her. No. They evolved her into the Queen of Blades and transformed her into a Zerg. And her breasts became a bit droopier. Her arse became a bit... She turned into a monstery kind of biped. She still looked hot, but not as hot as she used to look. And Reyna was not happy. But Kerrigan was like full of rawr, and she wanted to kill everything. And Reyna was just like, I'm going to kill you, Manx, for this kind of thing. And Manx said, try it, my beard's bigger than yours kind of thing. And lots of fighting. And then the Protoss turned up and says, hey, fear the might of the Protoss. And they started annihilating everybody, and then the Zerg attacked the Protoss, and the Terran kind of says, hey, 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 or something like that. I don't know, but a lot of stuff went on. A lot of people died, and many Boffins died to bring you this information. And to cut a long story short, they eventually found an artifact, and they got Kerrigan, and they brought her out of her transformation of the Queen of Zergs and Blades rather, and put her back human, even though she kind of still had Zergy dreadlocks. But she got put into prison, and Rhaena still never got to shag her, but she kind of wanted to shag him again, and they kind of mutually sort of thought, we need to shag, we need to have fucking rampant sex, but they never did it, and it's a bit of a shame that they never did it. But anyway, this game starts off with her in prison. She's in a bit of a bad way. She has to escape, and she starts to get Zergy feelings again, guys. She does. She starts to get feelings for the Zerg, and she ends up becoming Queen of Blades again. And I'm not going to spoil it, but you know that already, because you can see she's Queen of Blades by looking at the box art or the screen art. So you know that anyway, so that's not a spoiler, that's just kind of a given. But this game kind of carries on from there. You play through a 20 mission campaign, and the great thing about this is if you've never played a Starcraft game in your life, this is a good game to start out at, because the campaign is just put together with so much love. It's just an amazingly well put together campaign. You see, it shows you how to play the game, even if you don't even know who the the Zerg are. It just takes you by the hand and just leads you along the little path. Says, come on, make that little creature there, it's a bit cute. Make that one there, make that one, make this one and do this, and then make that building there, transmorph that into that, and do this and do the other. And then it just says, right, you're fucking ready, and then all hell breaks loose. And you can ramp up the difficulty, so it doesn't matter if you're a seasoned pro or a complete noob. You can change the difficulty, and there's a whole load of difficulty, and the campaign is a pretty good campaign. I mean, the story's banter piss, as it is in every video game. Don't tell me video games have good stories. They don't. You're in it. You're not in it for the story. We don't care what happens to Kerrigan. We would like to see her breasts, obviously, but we don't care what happens to her. I don't give a flying fuck. I just want to make 20,000 million fucking Zergs and charge into that base over there and murder every cunt. That's what I want to do. I don't give a fuck who does it, how many beards are in it, or whose ass is that, even though she does have a very tight ass. It's all about just building up a huge fucking army and crushing your enemies. And this game does that so well. And some of the maps are fabulous the way they're laid out, and there's other battles going on the maps. And another good thing about this game is that for the first time in a StarCraft game, you can evolve strains of your Zerg. So what does that mean? Well, you have to choose as you're going through the game how you're going to evolve your Zerg. And this has got a great impact on the battlefield. For example, your little Zerglings, who are your front line of defense cannon fodder, you just throw them into battle, you know, the tenner penny. Well, these can evolve. These little bastards can evolve two ways. You can either evolve them to able to leap up cliffs, or you can evolve more of them to spawn out of a single egg. I went for the more to spawn out of a single egg because I'm obsessed with numbers, and one of the things this game does so well is numbers. You can just keep spawning and spawning. I've had hundreds of units on the map, and it runs like a dream. I don't get any lag or stutter, and it's a really fun game to play, and I'm really enjoying the evolution of this game, the way that you can evolve your different units into different strains. And you have all your normal RTS type of things going on. You have base defense, you have air units, ground units. There's no sea, so there's no kind of boats or anything like that, but it doesn't need them. It's got everything else, and the mission structure is really good. And some of it just involves you being in control of Kerrigan, and just she is so much of a kick-ass bitch. She evolves as well. She has a whole like talent tree that you can unlock some amazing powers, and she's devastating. She's absolutely devastating, and you have to use her to get through a lot of the missions just because of her devastation that she can cause. And it's really good fun playing it. And also as well, with this actual game, The Heart of the Swarm, you get new units for all races. So because you can play as the Protoss, you can't do the campaign as the Protoss obviously, because that's the next StarCraft game that comes out, but you can play as the Protoss in custom games, and they get new units. The Terran get new units, and of course the Zerg get new units. And I'm not going to go into what these new units are, because one of the great things about playing this, as I've found, is discovering these units yourself, because they kind of in the campaign, it brings them into the campaign. And I don't want to kind of spoil that for you, because it is really nice the way they've done it. And Blizzard write great stories in the sense of making them look good. I mean, the stories are kind of shit, but Blizzard as much as they are up themselves, are the best in my book at doing QTEs. Their kind of cutscenes are just immense. And as you know, I'm a hater of cutscenes, but Blizzard do them right. I mean, a lot of companies can learn a lot from Blizzard because they don't saturate a game with cutscenes. They put them where they should be, and they're pretty short, but they're so well done. And I've never met a company yet that does better cutscenes than Blizzard. I mean, just look at World of Warcraft. The cutscenes in that are just incredibly good, as they are in this game. And this is 2-year-old. I mean, I dread to think what they're going to be like in the next one that comes out in a couple of months. They're going to be just amazing. But these are 2-year-old cutscenes, and they're better than a lot of AAA games that come out now. But anyway, moving on from the campaign to multiplayer. Multiplayer is great because you can just set up your own games with up to 8 players on some pretty big maps. There's loads of maps to choose from, and you can go co-op against the AI, or you can play against other humans. You can go into a ladder competition, or you can just have them all to your own friends that are on Battle.net. You have to have Battle.net installed. It's like Origin. The reason I give Battle.net a buy is because Battle.net was the first. Battle.net was out before Steam, for crying out loud. So I've kind of just accepted Battle.net because I've had it so long. And it is fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Battle.net. And because there's some great games that Blizzard own, it's well worth having. It's the only one worth having. But once you've got Battle.net installed, that's where you can buy the game, and it's $16.99, guys. But if you're into RTS games and you haven't played any of the Starcraft games, what I recommend you do is buy the full package for £50, because for that you get every single Starcraft 2 game. You get the Terran campaign, which is already out, you'll get this one, which is the Zerg campaign, and you'll also get the brand new Protoss one that comes out later this year. So it's well worth buying that. It's a terrific buy. I mean, I can't wait for the Protoss campaign. I thoroughly enjoy playing the Zerg one, but the Protoss campaign, I love the Protoss. That's what makes these games so well. The actual races are just phenomenally good. I mean, the Terran look good, they have some great units, but the Protoss, they're just awesome. These aliens, and they kind of, everything has laser beams. I just love laser beams. Pew pew. 3 absolutely brilliant races to play with. So there you go, guys. It's $16.99 on its own, or you can buy the whole lot for £49. Either way, it's a steal, and I highly recommend you buy it. Definitely worth a buy. This is why I still like PC gaming. This is why PC gaming is the best, because we have games like this that you just can't get on a console. And I'm not gloating. You can't have it on your fucking console. No, stick to your third person fucking Batman. I'm not gloating. It's just I'm gloating. It's great getting PC. You don't know what you're missing, man. You don't know what you're missing. You can't play this with your fucking controllers. It's a great game, and I apologise for that outburst. If you have a console, it's fine.